and welcome back to Mad's Tea Party, the channel run by a girl who does not drink tea. Today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite stories on the whole internet. 5 times the animatronic fox on Splash Mountain addressed me by name and told me he was going to marry my dad. This is probably one of my favorite stories ever, just because it's so ridiculous and it talks about Disney World, so it applies to my channel. So Clickhole is a site run by the same people that run The Onion apparently, and it's all satire. This article was posted on September 23rd, 2016, and since then it's become legendary. It's like an inside joke in the Disney parks fandom. It's just absolutely funny and bizarre, and I just love this story so much. It's so stupid, I love it. I'm going to be doing a dramatic reading of this story for you all today. I recently went on a vacation to Disney World with my family. It was a lot of fun until I went on Splash Mountain. There are a lot of animatronic animals on that ride that sing and dance before you go over a big drop at the end. And although most of these robotic animals are wonderful to watch as you float down the river, there was an animatronic fox that started addressing me by name halfway through the ride. He told me that he was going to marry my dad. He did that 5 times. I love how this is addressed like it's true, like it's just a journal entry. Number 1, the time that the animatronic fox made eye contact with me. I was riding Splash Mountain, and the animatronic fox was doing his pre-programmed speech about how he wanted to catch the animatronic rabbit. The fox said, then it turned and looked me right in the eyes and said, "I'm going to marry your dad, Ryan." Then the fox leaned in real close to my face, which I'm pretty sure it was not programmed to do, and he said, "Call me Mrs. Dad, Ryan. I'm going to be your dad's bride at his wedding." Before he could say anything else, I had floated away from him to enjoy the rest of the magic of Splash Mountain. Oh god, I love this so much. This also implies that no one else saw this. He's alone in this log. And it must have been on a day that it wasn't crowded because he keeps doing the ride. I love this. Number 2, the time the animatronic fox kept talking about how long the wedding would take when he married my dad. The big drop at the end of Splash Mountain was so fun that I decided to get back in line and ride it again. I was having a blast listening to all of the robotic animals sing and move around until the animatronic fox once again turned to me as I floated past. It started to say, but about halfway through the line he trailed off, turned around and said, "Welcome back, Ryan. I'm going to marry your religious dad, and the wedding is going to take forever. Everyone's going to talk so slow, and your dad and I are going to kiss 100 times. Your dad is going to get down on his knees and thank Christ for making his wedding to the robot fox take so long." I tried to tell the robotic fox that I didn't want that to happen, but I had already floated away from him. I also love that Ryan is so opposed to Brer Fox marrying his dad. I, for one, would welcome Brer Fox into my family. Number 3. The time the animatronic fox told me that he was going to wear my clothes when he married my dad. I had decided not to go on Splash Mountain anymore, but then I remembered how fun the big drop at the end was, and I got back in line. I was hoping the animatronic fox would just do his clockwork movements and pre-recorded lines, but instead he popped up out of the water in the middle of the ride and said, "Your dad is my fiance, Ryan. I'm going to wear your shirts and your pants when I marry your dad. Your dad's going to wear a wedding dress and we're going to be bonded in the eyes of Christ. Enjoy the rest of Splash Mountain, Ryan." After the ride, I told the Disney World employee working the line what had happened, and he just said, "That sounds bad," but he didn't do anything. That sounds bad! Okay, thinking about what a cast member would do. If I was working Splash Mountain and some kid, we don't know how old Ryan is, but I assume Ryan is a teenager. Some teenager comes up to me and says, "The fox told me, he keeps telling me he's gonna marry my dad." I'd be like, okay. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? He's not doing this to anybody else. that also implies that the fox is appearing in places that the fox should not be in, which I love. For the time the fox's voice came out of the animatronic goose, I just couldn't stay away from that incredible drop at the end of Splash Mountain, so I got right back in line. There's an animatronic goose on Splash Mountain who mostly sings and babbles about being careful on rivers. One time, when I was floating past the goose, it stopped singing, swiveled on its metal hinges to face me, and said to me in the fox's voice, "Ryan, it's me. It's the fox. I'm going to marry the ever-loving something out of your religious dad. Listen to me, Ryan. Our wedding will not have any refreshments. Guests will be permitted to bring one bowl of warm water from home, but that's it. Once I marry your dad, I'm going to become a huge part of your life. Have fun on the big drop." Then the goose's voice returned to normal and it sang a song about fishing. I do not want to attend a wedding where there's no food, especially since the fox said it was also going to be very long. I also love the implication that Ryan just assumes he has to go to this wedding. Also, did he get stuck on this ride or something? Because you don't go past the gooses for very long. Geese. You go past the geese pretty quickly. I don't know how he would have had time for that whole spiel, but that's too bad, Ryan. Or no, what did the cast member say? That sounds bad. Number 5. The time an animatronic model of my dad appeared next to the fox. I had promised myself I would never ride Splash Mountain again, but on the last day of vacation, the siren song of the big fun drop lured me right back into the den of the clockwork fox in his wet carnival of torment. When I got to the animatronic fox, he was standing next to an animatronic model of my father, which sparked and sputtered as he moved back and forth in repetitious motion. My logboat stopped right at the scene, which it hadn't done any of the other times before, and the animatronic fox started saying things like, "Hello, Ryan. Your dad and I are going to be each other's wives, and you'll have to watch me marry your dad through the window of the church because you're not allowed inside, Ryan." Then the animatronic model of my dad said, "I love marrying the fox more than I love having a son." Then it burst into flames, as the ride finally lurched forward on the river and I floated away from this horrific scene. The fox called after me, "I'll see you and your real dad at the wedding, Ryan." I tried to call back, "Please don't do this!" But my voice was drowned out by the sound of the robot porcupine singing about the dangers of being foolhardy. I love this. This story is hilarious to me, and in conclusion, if I am not told next time I ride Splash Mountain that the fox is going to marry my dad, I'm disappointed every time it doesn't happen. Once it gets rethemed to Princess and the Frog, if Louis the alligator does not tell me that he's going to marry my dad, I'm going to be very disappointed then as well. But at least after the retheming, Ryan will finally be safe from Brer Fox.
Editing Madison here. I am so sorry, and I realize that Ryan is not safe from Brer Fox. Brer Fox will have married his dad at that point, and that is why the ride is closing.
So that's kind of the history of I'm Gonna Marry Your Dad, Ryan, and that funny story that just started from a satirical article and grew into a Disney Parks meme. I hope you enjoyed this video, kind of a one-off. I don't know of any other stories like this for other rides. This is kind of a one-off story. So if you guys find anything fun that you want me to read from the Disney Parks community, or if you have any video topic ideas that you'd like me to talk about, leave them below. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep talking about whatever I want. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to share it with a friend and drop a subscribe if you want. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye!